Hi, welcome to another English lesson where we will be talking about 15 business idioms that you can use in your daily life, especially at work or at school. You can also use these business idioms in your IELTS exams to impress your examiner or to just sound like a native English speaker. But before anything else, please like this video and subscribe so you get free English lessons. Let's begin. In case you don't know, English idioms are special phrases that don't mean exactly what their words suggest. Instead, they have hidden meanings that you need to know in order to understand them. Let's go to the first idiom. Bite the bullet. To bite the bullet means to face a difficult situation with courage. Here's our first example. Jane had to bite the bullet and ask her boss for a raise. Here's the second example. Tom decided to bite the bullet and apologize for the mistake he made. Our next idiom is hit the ground running. To hit the ground running means to start a project or job quickly and effectively. Here's our first example. Sarah joined the new team and hit the ground running by finishing her first task ahead of schedule. So basically, to hit the ground running means that you are instantly shoved into a new project or a new activity and you're not even sure how to do it, but you just have to do it. Here's our next example. The company wanted the new employee to hit the ground running, so they provided training before his first day. Now here's our next idiom. Cutting corners. When you say cutting corners, you mean doing something quickly and without care, often sacrificing quality. Here's our first example. The chef prepared the meal by cutting corners, and it didn't taste as delicious as usual. So to cut corners means that you are not doing something to its full extent. Like you are scrimping or you are saving something instead of giving it your all. And here's our next example. Mark finished the project early by cutting corners, but the final result wasn't very good. Now here's our next idiom. In the red. In the red means when a business or a person is losing money or is in debt. Here's an example. The company has been in the red for the past 2 years due to low sales. Here's another example. After overspending on their vacation, John and Mary found themselves in the red. Now on to our next idiom. Learn the ropes. To learn the ropes means to become familiar with how something works or the basic tasks of a job. Here's the first example. It takes time to learn the ropes of a new job and get comfortable with the responsibilities. Here's another example. Sarah started as an intern and learned the ropes of the company before becoming a manager. Next idiom is under the table. Under the table means payment made secretly, often to avoid the payment of taxes or to avoid regulations. Here's an example. Paying employees under the table is illegal because it avoids taxes. Here's another example. Some businesses offer jobs under the table to avoid labor laws. Now our next idiom is break the ice. To break the ice means to start a conversation or to make a situation less awkward. So this is the term that you use when, let's say, you meet somebody for the first time and you're not sure of what to say. So what you are going to say will break the ice, so it will be less awkward between you. And the term that you use to break the ice, the conversation that follows, is called an icebreaker. Now here's an example. Tim told a joke to break the ice at the party and get people talking. Here's another example. In a job interview, it's good to ask a question to break the ice before discussing qualifications. So basically, to break the ice means something that will make the situation less tense or less stressful for the both of you, especially when you meet somebody for the first time. Our next idiom is don't cry over spilled milk. This means don't waste time worrying about things that have already happened and cannot be changed. Here's an example. You accidentally broke your toy, but don't cry over spilled milk. Let's see if we can fix it. Next example. The report had some errors, but instead of crying over spilled milk, let's work on correcting them. Now, our next idiom is jump through hoops. What does this mean? This means to go through a lot of trouble or obstacles to accomplish something. Here's an example. Mary had to jump through hoops to get her visa approved for her international trip. So to jump through hoops means that you are doing something that is extra in order to achieve a certain goal. Next example, the company made applicants jump through hoops during the hiring process. So in this example, maybe the company asked the employees to sing before they could determine whether they should hire them. Our next idiom is cover your bases. So what does this mean? This means to take precautions to ensure everything is protected or accounted for. So basically, to cover your bases means that you're just trying to be safe. So here's an example. Before going on vacation, double check your packing list to make sure you've covered your bases. Here's another example. The manager wanted to cover all bases by planning for both best case and worst case scenarios. So basically, to cover all your bases means that you are so prepared. Next idiom, the ball is in your court. So what does this mean? This means that it's your turn to make a decision or to take action. Here's an example. We've presented our proposal, and now the ball is in your court to approve or reject it. So basically, when you say the ball is in your court, it means that you are telling the other person that it's now their decision to make, that it's all up to them, or they should make their next move. Here's another example. After hearing both sides of the argument, the teacher said, "The ball is in your court. Decide how to resolve the issue." Our next idiom is back to the drawing board. So what does this mean? This means to start over because a plan or idea has failed. Here's an example. The recipe didn't turn out well, so we'll have to go back to the drawing board and try again. Here's another example. The marketing campaign didn't attract customers, so the team had to go back to the drawing board to come up with a new strategy. So basically, to go back to the drawing board means that you've failed and you have to do it all over again. Our next idiom is throw in the towel. So what does this mean? This means to give up or admit defeat. Here's an example. After trying to fix the broken bike for hours, Tim finally threw in the towel and asked for help. Here's another example. The team was losing by a large margin, so the coach decided to throw in the towel and end the game. So you basically use to throw in the towel when you already are admitting that you've lost. Our next idiom is keep your eye on the ball. To keep your eye on the ball means to stay focused on the most important task or goal. Here's an example. When studying for the test, it's essential to keep your eye on the ball and avoid distractions. So basically, this means that you are focused. You're zeroing in on a particular goal. Here's another example. The company's primary goal is to increase sales, so everyone should keep their eye on the ball and work toward that objective. Now, on to our next idiom, pass the buck. To pass the buck means to shift the responsibility or blame to someone else. Here's an example. Instead of taking the responsibility for the mistake, John tried to pass the buck to his colleague. Here's another example. The manager asked the team to work together and not pass the buck when issues arose. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching this far, and if you liked what you watched and you learned something new, please do give this video a like and a subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.